Hi everyone, I'm Alicia Gargaro-Magaña, fertilitygoddess.net, and we're so happy today to have Joanne Cohen. She's joining us to talk about women's health. She's a holistic health practitioner. She's worked with so many women on different varieties of women's health issues, including fertility, which is why we're with her here today. And we're just really grateful. I'm touched because I've gotten to work with you, and I've seen you interview with other people on their shows, Selena Ray, and you have such a wealth of information. I'm just really grateful that you joined us today, and I know that we're going to be able to share your experience and strength and talent and knowledge with so many women who are going to tune in and hear about what you have to say. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. That was a nice introduction. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about what you do and how people come to you.
Yeah. So I'm a holistic health counselor. I started really specializing in women's health just as a woman and going through my own journey. And really now I'm starting to focus mostly on fertility and preconception because it just seems like those are the women that are coming to me. And I'm just sort of fascinated by this whole time period in a woman's life. And so as a holistic health counselor, what I'm doing is really looking at the whole health of a person. And I'm also an herbalist and do nutritional support and counseling. So I kind of implement a lot of different things into my sessions with people. I actually have packages that people can buy so that rather than individual sessions, because it takes a while to create fertility, you know, especially for a woman who's been struggling with infertility for a while.
I know I've had doctors come to me, well, it will take 3 months, you know, it will take 4 months. I'm like, okay, 6 months later, which it doesn't matter, but it's funny how someone thinks they can, you know, just say it, or 1 or 2 tries will get you pregnant, we can get a grain of rice pregnant, but you know, the thing is, every woman's body is individual, and I think there's so many aspects to it that play in, and you know, obviously you're in tune to what those might be when you meet someone for the first time and learn their history. Yeah,
I mean, every woman has a totally different story, and the story is really important for where she is on her fertility journey. And so to me, I love hearing the story, and it's, you know, the childhood and the present it really makes up what's going on, so it's important to hear.
I'm very interested in the whole childhood story aspect. I think that's a whole part of fertility that women never get to touch on. They may touch on, oh, I have endometriosis, oh, I have cysts, oh, I'm 44, but they don't touch on what the issues that they bring to this time period in their life from their childhood. And if you could talk a little bit about that, I think that would really help a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. So, you know, there's so many things that create us, right? And so, as in my work, I'm looking at, you know, a person's stress levels. You know, what is their job like? What is their work like? What is their relationship like? Their nutrition, what kind of foods do they eat? And also their emotional health, and part of that is looking at the childhood. And what I find a lot is that most women who have fertility issues, first of all, they generally don't just have issues conceiving, they have PMS symptoms or endometriosis or a history of fibroids or cysts, really things that are in the reproductive areas, the pelvis, the pelvic area, or the breasts. And oftentimes they've had trauma in their childhood, whether it was verbal abuse or sexual abuse or just any kind of betrayal or trauma that creates some sort of imprint into the emotional, physical, spiritual body that later on manifests in the physical, and we don't always connect the two. So I see that a lot.
What can women do, and actually for men too, in terms of nutrition? I know foods can be healing, herbs can be healing, and you know, obviously when you have the emotional traumas, it's important to start talking about them, bring those either to the surface or get through that, and then start healing from the inside out. So you're going to heal the emotional and then also do the physical with how you eat and how you approach nutrition?
Yeah. So I'll give you guys a secret. The number one most important thing for fertility and nutrition is to eat organic. That is the most important, and I know some women struggle with that just because of the expense, but because of the way that our farming system has gone in the last 50 years, the soil is depleted of nutrients and minerals. And so to eat something that's been sprayed, that has pesticides, you're getting even less nutrients. So really, you know, we're all about preconception and pregnancy is all about building. You know, you're in the creation mode, so we want to build your reserves of nutrition and minerals, and it's so important. Not only is it important for fertility and preconception, but everything you do in that time period affects your pregnancy and your postpartum period, which are all really depleting for a woman's body, and anything that a woman's lacking, her baby takes from her. So the more she's built up beforehand, that's why I think even women who aren't having issues with fertility should do a 3 or 6 month sort of cleanse or nutritional program before they get pregnant, just to give themselves an added oomph for pregnancy. So that's my biggest tip, is eat organic. There was a Harvard study that said that an 80% decrease in fertility was caused by proper nutrition. So that's huge. So proper nutrition creates good, fertile womb space, you know.
And people, I mean, you know, because we all know the sort of stereotypical person who doesn't give a hoot about anything, smoking cigarettes and drinking and getting knocked up, and we're all sitting there like, we are pristine, and this doesn't happen. What's stress play in part of that? And, you know, again, if you could talk a little bit about the work you do in helping women get through some of that once they are eating organically. And, you know, for me, I people say to me, you need to sleep, and I'm not a sleeper. So what can we do? What else?
Right.
What else can you do?
Well, I mean, there's also the role of genetics. I mean, you hear of, like, you know, my grandfather lived to 97 and ate like a stick of butter, you know, and so there is that whole piece of genetics, which is really where the allopathic medical establishment has a strength. You know, they're focusing on a woman's biochemical, mechanical process, which is great. And alternative medicine can work hand in hand with that, looking at the whole picture. So anytime a woman is stressed, it's just going to put stress on her system, you know, and every part of us is attached to the other. So if the immune system's stressed, the digestive system's stressed. If that system's stressed, it stresses, it's a hard one, stresses the reproductive organ. So everything is connected, and the more that we can do to improve all the systems and make them functioning optimally, the better everything's going to work. So
what's a typical experience when someone comes to you, for example?
So usually I have women sign up for either 3 months packages, because what you were saying is it usually takes that amount of time to see shifts and changes, especially when I'm using herbal medicine. So generally I make herbal formulations that are unique to a woman, whether she's had, we need to kind of work on the length of her cycle or hormonal balancing, or maybe she has fibroids that are impeding this. So 3 months as an herbalist is generally the amount of time we like to, it's actually the least amount of time we like to use, but that's the amount of time it takes to really see changes in the cycle. So women can either sign up for packages that are 3 months or 6 months. It kind of just depends on a person's level of commitment and what's going on with their lives. And generally when they come to me, I have a whole system that they follow. Every woman's is going to be slightly different, because some women might be really a lot better in nutrition and other women might have more emotional trauma. So there is a system, and it changes accordingly to a woman. But the initial intake is really, like I said before, just seeing the whole picture. What's going on with the woman? Where are the strengths? Where are the weaknesses? What are the places we need to focus on? Do I want to start an herbal protocol now? Do I want to get started on nutrition? Are we sometimes I give exercises in meditation or breath work because breathing helps the whole system. So, you know, I have a system, and then I just kind of individualize it depending on what a woman is coming to. And, you know, really, women are coming to me because they want results. No one really cares necessarily what I'm doing with you. They just want to get pregnant, and they want to conceive. And of course, I can't promise that, but I can promise that the journey is going to unfold a lot for every woman.
And I think that's really important, because I mean, I sort of cut you off in the beginning with the packages, and I was like, they say it's 4 months, but it's really long. Like, I wasn't trying to be irritated. I was laughing because so many of us jump ship to the next opportunity. Okay, well, that doctor didn't work, or, you know, that acupuncturist didn't work, or I took those herbs and that didn't work. And, you know, I just finished doing maca, and that finally set my cycle at 28 days, which it hadn't been in years. But who knows what it is? You know, it could be so many things. It could be mind, body, and your brain. And so the one thing I know we have to stress is be patient. And we get panicky.
Well, because we want to get what we want, right? And women have this innate desire to bear a child. And so it affects us on a totally different level than wanting to lose 20 pounds. It's this just like the body's intelligence and brilliance that's what it wants to do. So I understand the quick fix. You know, I really do. And I also appreciate the journey. And that's what you know, as a holistic health counselor, I'm on the journey with you. So I'm supporting you. I'm giving you tons of educational materials to read and recipes, and being your advocate. Like, you can do this. I'm right here supporting you. And I also really like to stretch my clients. So, you know, some of us like the quick fix and the easy path. And what happens when we stretch ourselves, we actually become bigger and better and fuller. So a lot of women do come to me kind of after hopping to a bunch of different practitioners. And I really do believe that you kind of have to stick with something for a while, whatever it is, to see true results.
Now, as you may know, our website used to be called Fertility Horror because we were laughing at how much we will do to get pregnant, and then of course, too much spam on my Twitter, and too much. I mean, I originally wanted it to be Fertility Goddess, but we couldn't get the .com, so I was like, but we got the .net, and we're here now with that being the focus, because really, so many women are concentrated on the drugs and the doctors and the process, and not tuning into who we are as women and our innate ability to have a baby. I had one friend who said, I just commanded my body to get pregnant, and it did. And I was like, well, oh my God, if we're that easy, you know, but I don't think enough of us actually do that. You know, they think someone else will get us pregnant. And I think we have to talk a little, if you could talk a little bit about the in tune with meditation, perhaps, that women we have to get into it, gals, or we're not going to be able to get our power. Take our power back.
Take our power back. I mean,
a baby.
This is, you know, an empowering journey, and it can be, is what I mean to say. And, you know, when I say, like, I'm your advocate, I'm supporting you and giving you information, my intention is that I give you information that empowers you to make better choices for yourself. So as a culture, we've, in the last 50 years, with the, you know, medicalization of birth and pregnancy and women's reproductive health, we've sort of handed over our health to other people, and it's easy. Here, I'll take this pill, and, you know, hopefully it'll change my cycles, and hopefully I'll get pregnant. But what effects does the pill have then on later? You know, when you're taking large doses of hormones for IVF, what effects does that have on you later? We don't know yet. So It's really about making informed choices, you know, really understanding what your choices are, really understanding the significance of your choices, and then being really empowered in that, whatever your choices are, whether they're adoption or IVF or herbal medicine, it doesn't matter. It's just feeling from within that this is the best choice, not because you're scared and you're making it from fear, but because it feels right deep inside.
Right. We're letting car go by because we're at Topanga. Look how beautiful this is. We're outdoors. Women, get outside.
Oh my
I know
God.
so many people who are stuck in office cubicles, and you know, it's just like, I went on an interview for a job and the place was full of computers and computer boxes and just stacked everywhere, and I was like, I can't be in here. I physically knew I could not be in there because I would just be depleted energetically. I didn't get the job, needless to say, so I don't have to worry about it, but so getting empowered women, this is very, very important. And I know there's so much emphasis that we spend on not getting pregnant, and we have to celebrate those who are getting pregnant. I mean, I have lines of friends who have all gotten pregnant ahead of me. We just celebrated our 4th wedding anniversary. I have friends who got married after us who have already had a baby and a half, or, you know, and you're just sitting there like, you know. And it was not till the other day, and this is going to sound funny, I was watching Kendra at the gym, and there was just a shot of her husband holding their little baby, and he was just sleeping, and I felt for this baby, like they're explaining that child on television, but he just looked so happy sleeping there. And I said, I want a baby that I can just hug while sleeping. And like that moment overwhelmed me that I almost started bawling on the treadmill at the gym, because that moment where I'm like, where's my baby? Right. You know, why can't I have my baby to hold and hug? And whether he or she comes through adoption, whether we birth our baby, fertility is, the bigger word is being able to give birth, whether it's the birth of an idea of a child that comes to you or your child that you actually come through. And I think if we can share a little bit about that concept, what is fertility and what does that really mean to us?
Yeah, well, I think that's a real, like, spiritual question, you know, of times in our lives where we go through things that are really challenging, deeply painful, and we have the choice to let it crumble us or to break us wide open and to birth something new and bigger and maybe something that we never even imagined beforehand. So like, you probably never thought you'd be sitting and talking to people about fertility issues, and look at the education that you're providing to women. So it doesn't undermine that deep desire that you have to have a baby, but we birth something that's totally different. And, you know, ultimately, like, whether it's, you know, you believe in spirit or karma or destiny, it's like we all have these paths that we walk, and we don't really know what we're gonna get, you know. And so that's why I'm saying before, like, part of this is really the journey. You know, it's the work that I do, I call it a healing journey. So whether it's for preconception or fertility or a woman going through menopause, it's a journey that we're going on together to uncover something, you know. And something magical always happens, because healing is great and vast and all around us at all the time. So, you know, that's the little, like, more mystical, existential piece.
It's important. I think about how I met you. My friend Suzanne Lazat sent me an email from David Dalton. You know, I experimented with flower essences, and that phone number on there led me to you, which led me to, for the first time, look at my childhood and what happened as having a direct effect. I mean, it was just terrible things happened that I lived through, and they weren't, you know, life-threatening, but they were emotional threatening. And I never put those two and two together. And now that I can look at it and say, okay, yeah, you know, that was pretty damaging, and that's probably why I carry endometriosis and ovarian cysts and all of that in my life. But I can also say, okay, let's pull up from that and be the phoenix from the ashes and move forward into, like, you know, what we can do now. And I think empowerment, education, health, nutrition, spirit, meditation. I mean, what else? You've nailed it all today, but I think, you know...
Yeah, it's the whole package, you know, the emotional, the physical, the spiritual health. It's what makes us. That's our whole being. So it's important to look at the whole thing and not just, we're not just a little piece of, you know, our uterus here and our ovaries here and our breast tissue over here. We are whole women, and that's really a key part of this whole conversation.
Joanne, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything else you want to share, but I feel like you've kind of touched on a lot of things that...
Yeah, we've touched on a lot. I mean, we've kind of touched on a lot in a little amount of time. I'm happy for people to email me if they have questions. And
please give us what is your website and your email address?
Yeah, my website is sacredpassageways.com. You can email me at sacredpassages@hotmail.com, or there's actually an email address on my website.
And we might have to repeat that because we have an airplane.
I'm so curious
I know.
what this looks like.
This will be fun. You know, we'll just keep it in for this part because, you know, the joys of being outside, we have airplane. Okay, one more time.
Okay. I'm happy to answer any questions that any woman has watching this, or any friend of a woman. And my website is sacredpassageways.com. And on the website is a place to contact me through email or telephone. So please feel free to send me an email if you have questions. I'm happy to provide any information. That's really one of my biggest passions, is to just offer information because it's so important.
And we'll provide that. I mean, you'll see it here on the actual video. So, Joanne, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're just so wonderful.
Thank you so much.
And I feel very blessed to know you. And I really suggest to anybody who is on a journey to find, I mean, we're always looking for new ways, but Joanne is just someone that helped me so much in terms of becoming strong from the inside out, and I can be just forever grateful, and I hope that we can bring this opportunity to more people too as well. So,
I also do long distance sessions.
Yes, call her up.
You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to be in Los Angeles at all. Most of my clients actually for fertility are out of the country.
Really?
I mean, out of the state of California.
Oh, that's great to know. We're all connected, everybody. So thank you for watching on fertilitygoddess.net, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.